Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. I'm joined today by none other than Cozy Snap. Cozy, we're going to get right into it as we have a lot to talk about today. A lot going on in the world of Marvel Snap, including the release of two cards, Kate Bishop and Marvel Boy. We're going to be starting with Kate Bishop today, Cozy, running a 17% meta share at a 52.6% win rate according to Untapped. It has been a pretty good card. Has Kate Bishop lived up to your expectations?
Yeah, I think probably more so. I think like what a definition of a card that on paper, like a lot of people are probably like, is she really that good? I don't know. Like, yeah, she is. She is that card. She is good. She doesn't jump out like a 6-cost, 5-cost game impacting holy crap card would, but I think when Jeff came out, it introduced a lot of people to how powerful a 2-cost card can be, and Kate's that. Now, I don't know if your Kate's anything like mine. I have statistics to prove it. I went over footage. I played 15 Kate Bishops, and in 15 Kate Bishops, I only got 3 acid arrows. Like, I don't know where my acid arrows are, buddy, but they're not with my Kate. I get the grapple, and I get the basic or Pam a ton. And so she's probably even better than I would think she is. But, yeah, man, really, really good card.
Sounds like a skill issue, to be honest.
Probably.
But, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. So it's interesting. You said like, oh, there are people there like, oh, is Kate Bishop? I'm going to raise my hand. I'm one of the ones that I'm not sure if Kate Bishop's is as good as I think it is.
Oh.
I'm kind of middling. So we both came in at four stars last week, right? Are you sticking with that?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No question. Yeah, I think it's because my love for Coulson and curving out and all that, which I thought you're like the curve guy. Like I thought for sure this would be an Alex card.
I am leaning towards the 3 range.
Okay.
With 4 upside.
Okay.
It's definitely not a 5er like, Hope Summers was. We know that. That's 100%. However, I do think she's good, but I feel like she might get cut from shells over time, where there's going to be more synergistic plays. However, there are so many dials on this card that if the win rate starts to dip or starts to lose popularity, I don't think it can languish the way Black Swan did, for instance. I think it's like, oh, they just make that acid arrow better or the Pim arrow better or whatever. They're not going to make acid arrow better, but they're going to make something. There's so many tweaks that they can make to this card to just make it that little step better. And it doesn't even need to be better. It's still good. It's just not crushing the way that I would have hoped it would have, but it's still solid.
But I think that's the point. Like, I think she's not a 5 or 6 cost, so she's not going to do something that's like, whoa,
That's
right?
fair.
Like, I think that I think she's what's good about Snap. I love that she gives you an option to play into 3 immediately. Like, no matter what, you have something. Love the flexibility she comes with, whether it be like a Devil Dino, a bounce deck, just Zoo deck, a Clog deck with Acid Arrow. Obviously moves not built in quite yet. There are definitely, basic arrow doesn't always feel good. She can clog up your hand sometimes. There are a couple downsides, but most of the time, I think she's just a great mid-range, or, the mid-value decks that we used to call card. In the sense of like, it needs to compete with Jeff, White Widow, Thena, who I don't even know if this is going to last forever, but needs to compete with those cards. And unlike Thena, as I just brought up, or Ravonna or someone like that, she just fits into way more. And White Widow is great, but I think she can offer things White Widow can't. So I don't know, man. I think for a 2-3 with all this upside, she's pretty good.
I have 2 thoughts on that. First of all, I absolutely agree that Kate Bishop is a card that can go in many different shells. Super good because if you're like a relatively free-to-play player or a new player, Kate Bishop can go in like a Pool 1 Zoo deck. You know what I mean? It doesn't alienate you based on your collection level. It goes in a number of different things. The second thing that kind of came to mind while you were talking, and it's related to Kate Bishop, but based on what I just finished saying about how like, oh, it didn't kind of slam down the way I thought it was going to be, like did I just want power creep? Is that what I wanted? Like, is Kate Bishop just absolutely fine and balanced? And is that why I don't feel as excited? You know what I mean?
So it's kind of like what I was saying with speed is like, okay, so as content creators, we look for decks that we can build around the card that like really defines and showcases that card. When Jeff came out, were you like, and okay, I guess you could have done the Professor X route, but like, it's not like, this is what I'm going to do for this plug and play card that's going to make this card shine out. Whereas I feel like, yeah, kind of like Kate just fits into the builds that you want her to, more or less. And yeah, like almost too good. It's so weird in Snap because we want to be excited about these cards that we love, but then they have to be at a certain level. They have to be like on the good scale, like right here. They can't be here. They can't be here. It's like this weird, line that they have to draw so people don't hate it too much or whatever. But yeah, again, I think it rewards a lot of thoughtful play too with the grapple arrow and the way that the acid arrow works. And so for me, it could just be me. It could easily just be she really is the type of card that I enjoy to play. But yeah, I love her.
And I had the thought as well that like we talked about draft on your side. Is this like an ideal draft card? Like if there's other modes that like you kind of really utilize that idea of like hand generation and kind of like not being able to know like, oh, my opponent played Hawkeye. Like what do they got? Like it's no way of knowing, right? Is this kind of like a perfect card for that?
It's a great draft card. Would love to draft this card. Yeah, for sure. Could just fit into, again, it's that flexibility and stability index. I had her on the Wheel of Snap, dude. And Regis and I had her in the Wheel of Snap, and she was like an anchor. She was so good. She held down like our curve play so well and allowed us to stay in it. Now, that being said, again, Sinister London comes up. You're like, oh my God, acid arrow. This is going to be amazing. You don't get the acid arrow, and you're like, okay. What do we do now? But, so, you know, if you try to like depend on the arrow she has, she could be somewhat lackluster in that regard. But yeah, I enjoyed her a lot. You can utilize her with locations way more than I thought. Things like, Bar Sinister, where you can play a card, but grapple it, comes back over, and then you're able to like have a space left. Like just a lot of unique ways to utilize her.
I find myself sometimes cutting Shauna in favor of Kate Bishop because I felt like space became a factor if you're trying to do too much with Zoo. And I felt like with Kate Bishop, even the weaker arrows that we're not that excited about, if you have Kazar and Blue Marvel out and you're doing all those types of things, I mean, Mockingbird benefits from these arrows as well on your side of the board. Like, these are just good cards. Like, they're very strongly statted. Like, you can get the, what's it called? I can't remember all of a sudden, the other arrow. One more, basic arrow. You get the basic arrow to like 7 power with the on reveal plus Kazar plus Blue Marvel plus buffs, and all of a sudden, like, that's crazy coming off of a 2/3, right? And with the flexibility of being able to bounce it even if you really wanted to. Yeah, like I kind of do agree that like she definitely does have the upside. I just wonder. I wonder about cards like this when decks get really competitive. There's only 12 slots. Does Kate Bishop, is she resilient enough to withstand getting cut from decks?
Yeah, and again, I think because of her cheap cost, like she'll be played more than Gwenpool would. I mean, time will tell. I get what your take is altogether. I think she's great as a season pass card too. I think this was a good card to have as the season pass card opposed to Marvel Boy or whatever. Even though Marvel Boy is gonna be great, he's not. You know, if you don't play Zoo, well, I guess we're about to talk about him. But yeah,
let's talk about him now. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So Marvel Boy, you know, so many people ask me like, do I get him? Is he a certified lock? Great card, right? I'm like, well, yeah, like, yeah, he's pretty good, even outside of Zoo, but he's pretty good. But in Zoo, like, you want to be playing Zoo, like that's your main, that's your main. And there's a couple other ones, there's a couple other archetypes that shine. But man, what did you tell me about your unfiltered thoughts? What does your thumbnail say? An unbiased, an unfiltered, unbiased, raw review of Marvel Boy.
My thumbnails are always different. It's the standard is an honest review of Marvel Boy. Then there's the brutally honest review. And then there's the absolutely savage review of. And that's usually the way I like do the reviews. Yeah. But anyways, I think Marvel Boy is fantastic. This was my 5-star call of the month. You said 4, but you were like, I know you kind of wanted to lean 5, but you had some spicy takes you wanted to go on, right? This is kind of like an in spirit, like honorable 5 you wanted to give, so I'll give it to you. Yeah, like this card's crushing it. And it's also worth noting that Kate Bishop definitely benefits from Marvel Boy, right? Like 100%. They're very synergistic together. So those arrows are better with Marvel Boy, right? There's so many cards that are better with Marvel Boy. In fact, I mean, do I really have to bring up the fact that Squirrel Girl, Cozy, is running a 17% meta share right now? Dude. Because of Marvel Boy. And it does not surprise me that both Kate Bishop and Marvel Boy have similar statistics. Kate Bishop at 17% of the meta at 52.6% win rate. And then you have Marvel Boy at 14% of the meta, so just a little bit under, but 53.1% of the win rate. So they're very similar statistically, very similar play rates because they're often being played together. I think Marvel Boy is great. I think that if you listen, also the spotlight caches with Red Hulk and with Blob, excellent as well. I think you can confidently use your keys here. I don't know if I want to say this because I might be wrong, but will there ever be a top tier 1 Zoo deck that does not have Marvel Boy in it?
No, probably not. I mean, like if you're playing, it's the new like piece to that, right? Like, and we've seen this
Yeah.
before. Like, if you're playing Kitty Pryde, like Thena, you'll never play a Kitty Pryde deck again without Thena. Like, there's just no reason.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's the same kind of deal. I knew he was cracked when I was playing Shauna, and I was like, oh my god, this feels good to play. Like, I don't know if I've ever played Shauna before that, where I was like, oh, wow, like that feels pretty good. But I think what's so great about it is that it goes into a deck, right, with one goal in mind. Nowadays, like, God, I love how Zeus played now. I think Zeus is such a fascinating deck to play now because
I love it.
It used to be like you always have something to play. It's a fun deck. It's stimulating. It's dopamine. And then it's like, all right, here we go. We're going to Kazar. We're going to Blue Marvel. Woo! It's fun. But now I love, oh my God, Gilgamesh is just such a freaking iconic card. Like, bro, I can't believe how good Gilgamesh is. It's shocking that this card's this good, bro. I don't think he lasts. I've said this before. I think they really boosted him up. And it might just go down a PowerPoint, like, I don't know. But what I love about it is you have now the Blue Marvel route, and then you have the now Marvel Boy route, right? Like, you're just trying to get one or the other because Marvel Boy boosts up enough cards that this boy is like, do you think Gilgamesh as a 6-cost card is fine if he went up in stats maybe slightly? Because he's the finisher anyway.
The thing I really like about Gilgamesh as a 5 is that you often can sneak out Mockingbird with him, which is so OP,
Yeah,
right?
oh
And
my
that's
God,
where like you
so
have that
good.
one extra energy where like, oh, you could play, Ant-Man that you just top decked and Gilgamesh. His 5 costedness is what makes Gilgamesh so good. It's not even the verticality of the power. It's the fact that you can often like, oh, Dazzler's sitting on the board and I have Gilga and one other piece I can play. And it's crazy that sometimes it's Mockingbird.
And the squirrels that could go out at the same time, like you save squirrel for the last. I think it's also the power, bro. He's a 5-costed card that can usually easily transcend 13, 14. Like, the guy goes so north, man. And Zoo needed this. Like, Zoo was a glorified C2 deck in the way of like, oh no, I've got this wide power. What are you going to do? And then like people just did the math and like, I'm just going to win your deck. Like, what are you trying to do? We saw that with Surfer. Surfer needed a couple cards that went vertical. And as soon as Shaw came out, as soon as Gladiator came out, Surfer is one of the best decks. It is my climbing deck. Yeah, your climbing deck. I know you love it. It's just really good. Has all the answers. Gilgamesh now offers this verticality that it desperately needed. And so, sorry to make this all about him, but I think we have to with that synergy that is just Marvel Boy. And now Marvel Boy is getting you that. My Ant-Man's the 10. And I'm like, this is insane. It's so fun to have these 1-cost cards get so good.
And he also, in my Blue Marvel deck, not Blue Marvel, my Marvel Boy deck, I actually cut Kazar because I preferred having Marvel Boy out and I thought that was enough. And instead of Kazar, I was actually running Call Obsidian because I felt like it was just 10 power, massive, extra verticality. And Marvel Boy was pew-pewing all over the place, which, by the way, I think we need to speed up the animation. I'm just throwing it out there. Pew, pew,
Yeah,
pew,
it's a
pew,
little long.
right?
Yep.
Pew, 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 pew. And when I had Gilgamesh, even if I didn't get my Blue Marvel, there was enough pew-pews along the board that Gilgamesh was still big enough. You know what I mean? He pew-pewed enough that Gilgamesh was like, thank you for those pews.
Yeah, I can't believe that word bothers me. I don't know. It's like ointment. I don't know. Pew pew makes me nervous. The fact that Marvel Boy has fingernail grenades. Did you see that part of my lore? Can you believe that?
No, I didn't catch that part.
His fingernails are grenades. Like, you heard that correctly.
Wow. That makes like the middle finger that even more intense for him, eh?
It blows. Like, I just want to be in the writer's room sometime. Like, all right, guys, we got a newer hero here. What do we do? Like, how do we make him? Like, we already got friggin' all the other ones. What do we do? And someone's like, hey, you got like Johnny that comes in fresh off the blunt. He's like, fingernail hand grenades. And they're like, done. Ship it.
That reminds me of like they're in the writer's room. They're like, okay, we need another villain. They're like, what if there's a dude, but he's purple? What are we going to call him?
Thanos.
No, man. Purple Man. What? Not Thanos. I was talking about literally Purple Man.
You said purple villain. I just want to. I mean, if you were to go to anyone on the street and you said name a purple villain, who do you think they're saying?
They're going to say Thanos, yeah, but I was talking about literally Purple Man. There's a dude named Purple Man. Did you know that?
Is that the guy in McDonald's? The McDonald's Happy Meal box?
Is that Oscar the Grouch?
No, that's Sesame Street. Who's the chicken nugget guy?
The Hamburglar?
No, that's the Hamburglar. What's that stupid purple grump? The purple
Grimace?
round guy. Is it Grimace? I think it is Grimace. I feel like it is Grimace. Is it Grimace?
Is Grimace Marvel?
Oh, I wish, man.
Are we gonna get copyright striked on my channel because we're talking about all these McDonald's characters?
I know Baymax is Marvel for Disney. How cool would it be if like Secret Wars would have like Grimace and like Bambi?
Who's like the big yellow duck thing with feathers?
Big Bird?
Oh, it's Big Bird. Yeah, Big Bird. You look like you've dressed up as Big Bird before.
Bro, I wish. No, I don't have that kind of Riz, as the kids say. Although I did.
What the hell's Riz?
I heard what's Riz, bro? I got a comment on it. I'm so old. I got a comment on Coccia has so much Riz the other day, and I was like, man, what the hell is this?
How do you know what that means?
Bro, it's charisma.
It means charisma? Riz?
Charisma.
Oh, I understand. I do not have charisma. I have no game at all.
I heard Big Bird talk for the first time the other day though, and I was like, I don't know. I was expecting him to have like a deep, like, I don't know, like a deep voice.
You expected Big Bird to have like a deep masculine voice?
He's a big bird, bro.
He's a bird.
He's a big one.
Prioritize the bird over the big, and it makes more sense.
His first name's Big Bird. It's not like Bird Big. It was like a large, it's slightly big bird. It's Big Bird. So I was like expecting a manly, like, you know, maybe his first name's like Mordecai and whatever. Like I was waiting for it.
I think you had unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. So Marvel.
Wait, first of all, when did you hear Big Bird talk? When did this happen?
Oh, dude, I gotta watch all these shows with my kid. You know,
You're watching Sesame Street? Wait, he's not in Sesame Street. Now I'm confused. Big
Bird? What do you think he's a part of?
Is Big Bird in Sesame Street?
No, he's in Muppets.
Wait, who the hell are we talking about?
Big Bird.
Are we talking about the guy from McDonald's still, the yellow guy?
There isn't a yellow guy at McDonald's.
Yes, there is.
Ronald?
No, that's the clown. I actually don't know what we're talking about anymore. I don't think anyone else is following either.
The Big Bird is in Sesame Street, first of all, and I don't know of the yellow guy. I don't know what kind of Canadian ass McDonald's you have over there, but I can tell you for sure the Big Bird's in Sesame Street. Marvel Boy though, pretty good character, pretty good card. Fingernail hand grenades is the mold. I think it's your final day to get him. If you plan on playing Zoo, get the card. Period.
Oh yeah, for sure. You definitely got to, for sure. I mean, listen, you will not be able to make a competitive high-end Zoo deck without Marvel Boy going forward. Just like you can't do it without Mockingbird. You can't do it without Gilgamesh. And maybe there's going to be something that like comes out and like completely supplants that. But until then, I think Marvel Boy is an absolutely phenomenal call, and I think he's lived up to the hype. And I was actually surprised he released at a 3-2. I'm glad he did. He's good, and Zoo gamers needed something. And if you don't like Marvel Boy, play some Skillmonger. Yes. That takes us to our next topic of discussion, Cozy, and that is the best token shop buys in Marvel Snap. We're going to be discussing the Series 5 and Series 4 cards. I think we're going to lean more towards Series 5 here, the cards that you really want in your collection, the ones in the token shop that you see, and we will highlight some, the Series 3 cards, like if you're relatively new as well. But generally speaking, we're going to be talking about high-impact cards that are going to be worth your tokens in the token shop. Cozy, I'm going to start us off with Nocturne. Nocturne has been one of the cards that I feel like has a very high meta share percentage, currently running about 17 to 18%. Very high win rate, very high cube rate, but most importantly, it feels like Nocturne's finding itself in a very wide number of decks. Even like, it's not just, it's a 3-cost Silver Surfer card. No, it's a very usable card in a number of different archetypes.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about Sandman previously. Great Sandman card. Great moving card to play into the Angela builds. And, dude, it's just a crack card. It's a very good card. It's tough, though, to recommend people to get it unless they like those 3 to 4 archetypes. It does work in a lot of them. I would say it's definitely up there on my list, right? Are we doing it? I don't know if you have this plan. Are we doing the this or that?
Yeah, I was going to. You're jumping ahead of yourself here, sir.
I'm sorry. I just thought it would be perfect.
We're on the first one. We got to establish the baseline.
I was thinking Nocturne. I was like, I wonder who else that I would want outside of Nocturne. Okay, fair enough. Now I'm excited. Okay.
All right, so let's start it. Would you take Nocturne over Cassandra Nova?
Can you even get Cassandra from the shop, though?
I believe she's in the shop for 6,000 tokens, yes.
Oh my God. Dang, these are so tough. Okay.
You asked for this, Cozy, and now you're upset?
I did. I'm just trying to think of which one I play more. I probably play Nocturne more, to be fair. Like, that's crazy, but Cassandra's so cracked. But I probably would aim for Nocturne in the longevity.
See, it's close, but I feel like I would take Cassandra Nova over
That's
Nocturne,
fair, though. I don't think you can go wrong with that one, man. It's just I'm trying to like think more of like how long does Arishem last? 6 months from now, I love Nocturne and the move cards coming out. That's what I was trying to think of. Can't go wrong there. Yeah, dude, especially because you could have gotten Cassandra for free. I don't know. I might have gotten.
I know that's what I think hurts, right? It's like a week ago I could have gotten this card for free, right?
Yeah.
Now you're paying 6K tokens and getting 100 tokens from your collector's reserve. You're like, yay, this is exhilarating. Well, I have like 700 reserves unopened. I'm like, these are useless.
Yeah, oh man.
I have to open them eventually. Now here's an interesting one, Cozy. Now this is, I think, one of the highest performing cards in the game. I tried to find a card that has the highest win rate stats, but the lowest meta share. Nomura.
I knew it. I just said it before.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it. It's perfect. Nomura is less than a percentage played.
Yeah, I don't know why.
56% win rate right now. And this is 90 and infinite above. We don't, because it's still early in the season, pure infinite stats are a little tricky right now. So we're incorporating 90 because it's usually not too many bots in 90. Nomura is ridiculous, Cozy. And yet, no one's getting it. Can you convince people, or would you be willing to spend 6K tokens on Nomura?
Yep. I think I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. I think what's great about Snap is playing decks that people don't expect. I think Nomura is just like no one expects her. Cosmos play rate's down right now. It's one of the few ways to stop them. Magneto's play rate's down, and that's the way to move Wong if you want to go that route. Nomura is just a really good card that I think is so vastly underplayed. It was my favorite card of the month last week. I think that's when I brought her up. Love her. And I think she's hot and rising. I think the secret's starting to get out of it. And I do think that Wiccan could potentially be into a Nomura build, maybe. But yeah, very solid, super flexible. It's its own archetype. It's a new way to play the game. I don't know where I would have her. And I'm sure you're about to throw up some examples here. But yeah, you know what? This is good. Go and throw them because I want to compare it to a couple. I might just pick her out of bias.
Hit you with a couple hard ones, okay? You have 6,000 tokens. Are you taking Nomura or Nico Monaru?
Oh my god. You know what, man? For the average Snap player, I'd almost say freaking Nomura. I mean, like Nico's like the obvious choice and a lot of reasons why, but like I was not gonna. Yeah, I mentioned him a lot already, but we just were saying like, man, I hate Nico. The spells are too confused. I don't want to worry about all that. And so like on a base level, I think potentially Nomura, but I think Nico's a top 5 card in the game, so it's like, yeah, it's impossible.
Okay, here's another example. Okay, Nomura or White Widow?
Nomura.
Really, eh? See, White Widow's like in so many different decks. This is what's crazy, right? And those of us that have played with Nomura realize how powerful it is, which is crazy because I also was super low on Nomura until I got my hands on it. This was a prime example of a card that I feel like I misevaluated. And I can't tell you how good the card is. And the decks play great because if you don't draw into Nomura, you got the White Tiger combination. You got so many different ways to win. White Widow is in so many decks, it had to get nerfed. And yet here's Cozy saying like he'd rather spend those tokens on Nomura. And that just goes to show how good it is.
Yeah, and it's not popular right now. And like it's so unique in the way that it wins. It's so unique in the way that it wins. And so I think that's what has the edge. And none of this is diminishing the cards that I've talked about before. I'd probably go Nico before her. But the White Widow, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's other slots I'll go with on 2 there. And yeah, I like Nomura.
Okay, here's a tough one. Arisham's still running 15% of the meta. Would you consider Arisham a strong buy at 6K tokens today?
Yeah, I still think he's one of the most fun cards to play in the game. I think that if you're coming back to Snap and you haven't played in a long time, you just buy Arisham.
Really, eh? You think he's that good?
I think he's good, but I also think he's better than what is good, and that is fun.
Yeah, and I think that you have to tech for the Cassandra Novas. Like, you're probably going to be using Shadow King, Shang-Chi, stuff like that, because obviously Cassandra Nova is damn good and will definitely cause a problem there. Now, would you rather go Arisham or Loki? New Loki.
Arisham.
Yeah. See, I'm leaning towards that as well. Like, prior new players trying to spend their tokens, I would have taken old Loki over Arisham 100%. New Loki, I lean Arisham as well. What's interesting, though, is the best performing Arisham decks, who's in them?
I was going to say you need them. Like, you need the Arisham. Get the Arisham, learn how to play him, then get the Loki after.
Yeah. Okay, I got another one here, and this one, Cozy, answer carefully, because this card is near and dear to my heart. Copycat, 6,000 tokens. 6,000 tokens. What is your opinion on Copycat for a player? Because it is, I love it, but what do you think?
I love that my 5-star card of that month became your favorite. I love that because I was Copycat man. Who was your card that month when I was on Copycat?
Cassandra Nova. Oh, okay. We both won that month.
That's right. Yeah, we both we both got on that one. Yeah, dude. it's so hard to find a card that's so good that doesn't feel horrible losing to, and I think they just did Copycat so well. Like, this Copycat came out the other day on 5 when they played a 5 cost. I'm like, how did they do that? And it was a Mockingbird. I'm like, oh my god, this thing was 0 cost with ease. I think Copycat makes so many decks not the same game, and I love that. I think that's like why I like to have her. You kind of always know what you're going to do with your deck, and I think it's so vital having information, but also this piece that allows you to flex out your knowledge and win capabilities. And so, yeah, she is a very good card. Going to be tough to compare to some, though, because of the nature of what she does.
You know what Copycat is? It's like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
You never know. What are some comparisons that you have here?
All right, let's go to a couple ones that are hard here because they came out in the same month. Copycat versus Cassandra Nova. This is a hard one.
I would play Copycat more.
See, that's crazy. I love Copycat, but I'm like, I think you need Cassandra Nova. Because if Erisham starts popping off again, Copycat ain't going to do nothing.
That is
fair.
What I mean? That is fair. Cassandra is very important in those builds. I feel like I just don't play Cassandra a lot right now. I don't. Like, I'm just not worried about it. And it might be I just don't see a lot of Erisham at my point, like where I'm at this.
I see no Erisham anymore.
Yeah, like right now I don't. So maybe it's like recency, right? I think if I was like a person deciding what to buy, though, and again, the tough part about Cassandra comparisons is in my head, the freeness of it is so.
Yeah.
But we have no info on how or when you'll get that back. So.
Okay. Here's a tough one. Rank these 4: Cassandra Nova, Copycat, Nocturne, and Nomura. The cards we've talked about. Rank them 1 to 4.
One more time.
Cassandra Nova, Copycat, Nocturne, and Nomura. In the order that you would unlock them with your tokens.
Cassandra Nova,
Copycat, Nocturne, and Nomura.
I'd probably unlock. I keep going back to the Cassandra Nova because it's just tough. Like, I don't know. She's a great card. Really good card. I would probably go Nocturne.
Nocturne number 1?
Yeah, probably. Nocturne.
And then what, like Copycat second?
I guess. The whole free thing has me all off. I mean, I'd probably have Nomura last, which is so funny after how much we talked about it. But out of those cheap cards, with flexibility, it's hard not to. All those cards flex into better decks, so yeah.
Okay. Would you take anyone over Hope Summers?
Of those?
Yeah. If you were to have Hope Summers in there, does any of those cards beat out Hope Summers for the average player?
Potentially Nocturne. Probably not, though. I'd say probably Hope's the best. No. Hope's the better card.
Yeah, I think Hope Summers might be the number 1 card. Like, it's close to being number 1. Like, especially if you have Thena, right? Like, if you have Thena, another card I want to talk about here. I think Thena, we joked about it in the prior segment. You'll never play a Kitty Pryde Angela deck that is a top tier 1 deck that does not have Thena in it. Thena will always be in those decks. It's that good. Possible nerf candidate. Possible. It's close. It's got to be on that watch list, right?
Yeah.
But I bring the question then. You have 6,000 tokens, Cozy. Do you unlock Hope Summers or Thena?
Probably Hope.
I would agree.
If you're a Kitty Pryde player, though, probably Thena. Like, if you only play Kitty Pryde decks, I think she does more than Hope does for the deck.
100%. Hope Summers plays into Haivo. It plays into Surfer. It plays into a ton of different decks. It happens to play into Kitty Pryde decks very naturally as well, because obviously you can proc Kitty into the Hope Summers. All right, so we're going to continue with Hope here. Brand new player. You got 6,000 tokens, Cozy. You got 3 options. You're going to hate me. Hope Summers, Mockingbird, and Red Hulk. How would you rank those 3 as a relatively new Series 3 player?
I would go Hope at number 1. Bro, you can't miss. Like, I don't know. You can't miss with that. I play Mockingbird more than I play Red Hulk, personally. I do. And so
I do as well.
And I don't think you could go wrong with either. I think Red Hulk is the catch-all 6-cost card, could go in any deck. I think Mockingbird is almost a catch-all 6-cost card that can go in just about any deck. I would say for someone that maybe doesn't know Snap, I would say the Red Hulk then, because like big power, play the card, I win. Whereas like Mockingbird, it's like, oh, these squirrels make it go cheaper. Oh, they played a Killmonger, it went up. Wait, why? You know, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So probably Hope Red than Mocking in that scenario.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I agree with you 100%. Like, if you're relatively low collection level and you're missing a lot of core pieces for a lot of meta decks, Red Hulk is a very natural, like, oh, I don't have that. Okay, I'll just put Red Hulk in. You know what I mean? It'll never kind of steer you wrong. Okay, we got a couple other ones here. Cozy, you got 6,000 tokens. Are you buying Alioth or are you going to be buying White Widow?
Probably White Widow.
I agree 100%, yeah, because she's just so prevalent in all the decks. Despite how good Alioth actually is, I feel like White Widow just finds itself into so many different lists.
And mostly I prefer cheap cards over expensive cards unless they do something like insanely unique. Like old Alioth, obviously, whatever, right? Like if you were to say like Galactus, I would have said Galactus in that scenario, right? Or whatever. I love the versatility of these cheap 2-cost cards that do so well.
All right, I'm going to hit you with a hard one. Okay, I want you to rank these 3 in order of which you would unlock them with your tokens. Sage, Red Guardian, and Sebastian Shaw.
Sage,
Red Guardian, and Sebastian Shaw.
It's in that exact order.
Yeah, you think so? What are your thoughts on Sage? You think Sage is
Sage
absolutely
is the best
fire,
card
right?
not played. Yeah, I think Sage is an absolute S tier card that's not played. I play Sage almost every day.
Yeah, Sage is in my bounce deck, and I got to tell you, Sage is disgusting. Disgusting in bounce decks.
She's just so good, man. I love being able to play her for like decent value, for cracked value, all types of decks. I can't believe she's a 3-cost. Like, I just love her, man. I think she's such a great card.
This one's a difficult one. I'm going to leave it by itself. But let's say you're, a relatively low collection player level. You got yourself Gilgamesh. You've got a Zoo deck, but you don't have Kyera. Do you commit 6,000 tokens to Kyera?
Oh, you better. I almost cussed there. You better like Zoo. You know what I mean? Like, I would say, like, if you have like other cards, you should be getting no. Now, if that would have been, if you have a Zoo deck and you have Kyera, should you get Gilgamesh? Reverse answer. Yeah, just get the card. Like, Gilgamesh in Zoo is so vital. But maybe armor it out. It's so tough. But if you're playing Zoo and you're ready to play Zoo and you're ready to learn the in and outs of it and the strats, yeah, for sure. You need Kyera.
Yeah, because you could armor and Cosmo Tech to kind of like try to protect yourself a little bit. I agree. Or you can just be like, oh, they're playing Destroy. If they snap, I got to know my outs, right?
Yeah, and if you don't, like, the problem is we've seen Kyera adjust, and she's like poo-poo outside of Zoo and a couple other decks. So, like, she's just not played as much,
It's high Evo as well. She gets played in quite a bit because it has the 3 1s and the 6 drops as well. Definitely does get cut. Now, here's a very interesting one, Cozy. Do you think at 6,000 tokens, Miss Marvel is still worth picking up?
No, depends, but no. I don't think so. What would be the comparisons?
I mean, if you're thinking about comparisons in terms of relative like play rate and power level, Miss Marvel's being played about the same rate as Elsa Bloodstone, Proxima Midnight seeing a little bit more play. Actually, even Blink is roughly into that category.
Oh, I'd get Blink way before her, yeah.
Yeah? So you'd go Blink over Miss Marvel.
Yep.
It's interesting what the changes to the text have done to Miss Marvel, because she used to be by far one of the most sought after cards. Now, we have a couple more we want to talk about here in terms of token shops, and we're going to focus more on like the collection building side. Cozy, what are your thoughts on High Evolutionary if you're someone relatively new to Marvel Snap?
I still think it's really good. I think we brought him up in like a good beginning cards or whatever, and I think he's still up there, maybe even towards the top now that Loki's gone. Just don't have to do a lot. Is good. I think has promising cards for the future. Yeah, solid build.
With the changes to Viper, do you feel like Annihilus is still worth 6,000 tokens?
That's a tough one. I think Junk is played less. I think Junk is the least safe archetype to buy into because of Second Dinner having a proven track record that they don't want people to be mad. And I think that that's the easiest thing to do.
Okay, in the interest of time, we'll go through another couple just quickly. In terms of the big bads, Thanos and Galactus, which one would you prioritize with your tokens?
Probably Galactus.
Well, come on, really?
Right now, yeah, dude. Have you not played that?
That actually surprised me. I felt like I was just kind of tossing a layup to you. Right
now, at this
sell me on
present
this,
time.
yeah.
Just this present time, dude. Have you not played the Destroyer Null deck that has like it's like all the big bads with Ultron in there? Yeah, dude. That deck, you want Galactus in there, and yeah, man. I just have more fun with Galactus than Thanos right now.
Galactus is fun. I have one of my best friends. He only plays Galactus decks. Like, he's a pretty casual player. He only plays Galactus because he wants to Miss Marvel thumbs up. And like, I totally understand like the fascination with it. And unfortunately, Thanos, despite them making enough steps in the right direction, still doesn't feel like it has its identity yet. But I don't think we've seen the last of Thanos, and I even think Marvel Boy might have a chance to prop him up a bit.
I was gonna say we didn't see anyone try Marvel Boy with Thanos, and I think that's for the reason of like if you're gonna Thanos, it's Lockjaw right now. So yeah, I would tend to agree.
Here's a very interesting one. It's part of the Spotlight Caches this week. Would you ever spend $6,000 on Pixie versus using your Spotlight Cache key right now?
Probably not. I mean, like she's available right now, so it's like yeah, I would definitely like. She's going to be more in the future. I think she's a great alternative card than the new card. You know, I think if a new deck arises that's cracked with her, then, you know, grab her then. But, you know, like, if that's when you want to get her, but I don't think so. And I love her, too.
Okay. Okay. Last question. I'm going to put you to the test here. Rank these 3. Nocturne, Jeff, the baby land shark, and Hope Summers. Rank those 3. Jeff, Hope Summers, and Nocturne.
And it's like fantasy football. It's like rank these top 3 RBs and they're all good.
Yeah.
I would say oh, I don't know, man. It's tough. I like
you should have all of them as your answer.
I'm trying to think of the order the order I play them is different than like the generic answer I could give. You know what I mean? Like I play Nocturne the most out of those, then I play Jeff, then I play Hope. Personally. That's me, personally. But it's probably Hope first. And then probably Nocturne, then Jeff.
Very interesting. I agree. Hope 100% number 1. I would go Jeff over Nocturne.
You've kind of always hated Nocturne, though. I feel like you've not not hated her. You did hate her at one point. You didn't like her at one point. But you've never been like a huge Nocturne fan.
I'm not a big Nocturne fan. No, I'm not. And I totally respect it. I get why it's good. I see its power. I play Nocturne, but I'm like, I just look at her. I'm like, you're gonna do something. Like no. I don't trust you. And you brought it up before. Don't move her. You don't have to. Don't just move her because you got to move her. She ain't Vision, right?
Yeah, right,
Vision can just bounce around. Don't do that with Nocturne, damn it. But all right, Cozy, that was a lot of fun. We'll have to do that again sometime. Those were the token shop buys. We'll put Cozy to the test and let us know how much you disagree with all of our rankings.
I know, right?
And that takes us to our Snapchat mailbag, Cozy. We have a couple hilarious comments here that we're going to get through here. The first one from Super 0860, which read, Black Panther is so forgotten, he's not even on the forgotten list.
I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, he needs a new identity for sure. I was even trying to build him into Wicked. I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, no, he's just awkward, man. Like, maybe he'll be in there because anytime you have ramp, but he just needs an identity. I don't know. He needs to be changed. I think they can mess around with him and see how it goes.
I play a ton of On Reveal right now, and it has Namora, and it does not have Black Panther.
Agreed.
So we just finished talking about Namora for the 45th time this episode, but like Black Panther, there's almost no reason to run him. And if there's a Black Panther sitting by himself, it's like, oh, I wonder if they're going to Zola him. You know what I mean? It's like there's only like one play, and it doesn't feel like it's worth it, right? So I agree 100%. And we didn't quite forget him, but screw Black Panther right now, I guess. I would like to see him get buffed. Yeah. If he goes to a 5-5, do you think that's too much?
It goes up to 10, then 20. Not really. No, I think that's just fine, because then he goes up to 10, which is a normal play line. Gilgamesh goes up to 15 or whatever. And then, you know, you can do crazy, stupid things with him, but he is a very obvious telegraphable play. I think that's fine.
Okay. We'll have to see it, right? We'll have to see if that ever happens. The next question comes from Dank012, and it reads, this week was without a new card, and it actually felt relaxing and calming than constant releases. No FOMO, no seeing the same deck with the new card over and over again. It was refreshing. I think it would be great to make it a one in a few months with a season with 4 cards, gainable via Spotlight Caches, as it gives more time to save up resources and experiment with existing archetypes.
That's funny. I saw the opposite. I saw a lot of people like this week felt horrible without a new card. But like just from my circles. But yeah, I think we've had this take for a while. I think we've said if they did quality of life during it, but I don't think so. I think what they'll do is they will change this week where it's like Marvel Boy with, you know, whatever. That Marvel Boy would go to the week of the diner. I think that could be the last week we ever don't have a new card, to be honest. Moving forward,
I actually didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all.
Fine. Yeah.
It also helps that I took like that week off to spend time with family and stuff. So it was like, it was well timed.
I was gonna say you didn't play a lot that week, but fair. Yeah,
exactly. But at the end of the day, like it was one of those things where it's like, they're not going to use that time to fix the game. It's just going to be lull time. Like they have a team that's working on patches and fixes, which if can I request one fix, please? Can we fix the bug where you're trying to pick the costs in your collection when deck building and it remains highlighted even though it's not picked?
Dude,
can we just fix that one bug? It's been like 9 months.
There's so many bugs, man. Like there's it's not like game-ending bugs, but there's just like, I don't know. There's bugs where it's like I want to see them care about some of these, and I don't know if they're so deep. I don't know if they're so deep in the code or whatever. But yeah, it's like I was opening caches again. I was just like, man, I couldn't even con my wife to open them for me. I was like, hey, can you click this button? And she's like, no, this sucks. I'm like, I know. It's horrible. Awful.
I know. We got a couple more here as we approach the end of this week's podcast. Fall Among Us asked, how do y'all feel about a content creator album? For example, one album with 12 variants that are from creator favorites, or alternatively an album with the favorite variant for each creator featured in an album. So for instance, Cozy, like I would say, just like we talked about on the Conquerors event, like I would pick the Archer and Captain Marvel as like Alex Coccia's, variant. And you might pick, the Archer Arrow, or I don't want to speak for you. Who would you pick? I'd take the Archer Captain Marvel.
I was gonna say the hate would be off the charts if we got our own albums. I would like people would be so mad at this. I'd be like, oh yeah, dude, I would have one and only. The Pixel Coulson would be my one. You'd have to buy him to get that. I think if anything, a cool way to like, I don't know, it's a couple of years in now. I think a creator titles is cool. I think that's a cool way to, like instead of like Costco lover, it could be like wholesale lover or something. Like I don't know, something fun.
Happy snapping.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I would love to see it. I asked him to put happy snapping in 2 years ago, and it never happened.
All right, and our last comment of the day to close out the Snapchat comes from CIB89. It reads, Luca is such a good movie. I'm Italian and my dad owns 2 Vespas, and hell yeah, it's so good. You should ride together through Italy's best places. Cozy, I'd like to officially ask you, would you be willing to ride with me through Italy on a Vespa?
Nope. Goodbye, everybody.